Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a well-known and respected coach and an author from San Francisco, USA, Oliveyah Fisch. Oliveyah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Oliveyah is a master coach. She's the best-selling author, and she's the founder of the Spiritual Health Beat movement. She has a forthcoming book, which is titled Spiritual Heartbeat, The Ultimate Requirement for Success, which is scheduled in fall 2025. So, Oliveyah, let me start by asking you, tell me a little bit about your own journey and what was the inspiration into somatic healing and spiritual leadership?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. So, my journey has been one that has been unconventional. I grew up in a martial arts studio. I learned Kung Fu Sansu from a very young age. My father has had studios all through while I was growing up, and he was taught by a man named Jimmy H. Wu, who brought Kung Fu Sansu to the United States from China.
Wow.
So I have always been very interested in the intersection between body, spirit, and mind. And I began my journey as an adult through fitness and wellness. I earned my master's in exercise science and dove deep into nutrition and movement and performance. But what truly changed my life was me just recognizing that many of the challenges aren't always strategic or logical. They're emotional and spiritual and stored in the body. And that awareness pulled me into somatic healing, into spiritual leadership. And I wasn't just interested in people feeling better necessarily. It was more of remembering who they truly are and coming back home to themselves.
Amazing. And what was the pivotal moment that made you plan on shifting from toward becoming a coach and launching the spiritual heartbeat movement?
Yeah, so this is before the pandemic. I was at the height of my outward success, I call it.
Mhm.
But inwardly, I felt pretty disconnected to what I was doing. And I had all the right achievements and sponsorships and clients, but I knew something deeper was missing. And that's when I felt the little tap, tap, tap of my intuition, a call to live and lead in a really different way and not to hide behind titles or masks that felt more safe to me at the time. And I have a 7-year-old daughter. So I'm not sure if you've been around children these days, but they're so brutally honest
Mm.
and they keep you honest. So it became more and more important to me as she's getting older to be a model, to be an example, to be able to look her in the eyes 10 years from now and just say to her, I did my part
Yeah.
and I've been doing my part. And our ability to really elevate our level of consciousness is the most important work we can be doing right now,
Mm.
not just for ourselves, but for the ripple effect that
Mm.
it creates.
Amazing, amazing. And tell me a little bit about the spiritual heartbeat movement as well, Oliveyah.
Yeah. So I wrote this book, and essentially it has these 7 principles that I believe that they are very supportive in aligning with integrity, authenticity, intuitive living, and allow you to actually not just have the externalities of success and
Mm.
wealth and abundance, but actually feel that from the inside out. We often are really valuing our worth through external things. And it's not satisfying, it's not working. And so part of this book is sharing with people these 7 principles of spirituality that you can actually integrate into your life. They're not these theoretical things, they're actually embodied practices that you can live by.
Mm.
And with the launch of the app that we are creating, the Be Human Medicine app, and the courses that will be in that app, and the activities of the daily practices, we'll be able to just support ourselves and our audience to kind of tap into that daily dose of, okay, this is what we're up to today. This is the reminder that we need to come back. And it's called spiritual heartbeat because it's that heartbeat in action. It's that coming back, and as many times as you need to come back to these principles to align again.
Well said. Let's now talk about, some of the teachings and philosophy which relates to becoming human medicine.
Mm.
What do they truly mean to become human medicine in your own words?
Yeah. So I found through my coaching practice over the last, I guess, 5 years or so, that that's what I'm actually doing with my clients. They're getting these amazing results, not because I have the best strategy or because I'm the smartest or anything. It's because I'm actually just holding space and being human medicine for people. I'm seeing them as their highest self, as their divine self, even when they can't see themselves clearly as their true self. And that is the best thing we can be doing right now. So even when somebody is out of integrity, can you still see them in integrity? Can you still see their best self, even when they're complaining and blaming and in victimhood and in judgment and all the things? So to become human medicine is to embody the truth that you're actually not broken. You are the remedy, your presence, your healing, your joy, or even your heartbreak, just anything that is actually authentic is sacred.
Right.
So when we stop outsourcing our worth and we just actually start trusting our inner wisdom, we become living transmissions of healing for ourselves and others. And it's so powerful. I'm so honored to do what I do every day.
Wow.
And it's a gift. There's a reciprocity that comes with that, when you can be that person for someone to say, you forgot who you are. So I'm going to hold space for that today because you forgot. So let's come back. Right.
Absolutely. Thank you. And how does self-compassion act as a foundation for healing?
Yeah. This is my view. It doesn't have to be everyone's view because I think people have different definitions of self-compassion. But in my view, self-compassion is like this beautiful bridge between survival mode or victim mode to sovereignty and empowerment and co-creating your life by design and being orchestrating. Okay. It's like this bridge. It's like you need that self-compassion every step of the way to get across that bridge. So without it, we're constantly in this, what I call pusher mode or fixing ourselves, making ourselves better. I got to be better. I got to be better. I got to be better. And I think what I see right now is people are just burnt out from that energy. So with that self-compassion, we just get to hold ourselves. So compassion softens the nervous system and it allows us to actually access the wisdom beneath all of the hurt that might be happening or the confusion. So it creates safety in the body for transformation to happen. So it is one of the people sometimes will ask me, what is the if you had to pick one thing that you've learned that you couldn't have got where you are today or feel how you feel today or whatever it is that I learned how to be kind to myself. That is the biggest gift I think that we can give ourselves and the world as that ripple effect, to be human medicine for ourselves first, so that we can create that ripple effect for others.
Amazing. Well said. And what is one misconception people have about transformation that you often find yourself addressing?
I think that there's confusion out there that transformation is really dramatic and dramatized, and it's also or it looks really perfect. So it's like these two extremes that I see, people talk about the butterfly, the cocoon to the butterfly, and they talk about breaking down completely so that they can build back up again. But what I actually see in my work is that true transformation is often quite quiet. It's messy, but it's quiet. It's a quiet messy. It happens in these micro moments where you're setting a boundary or you're taking a pause or you're not reacting and you're responding instead, and you're choosing that love-centered living for a moment where you wouldn't want to react, right? That's the real work. It's in the actual micro moments. That's transformation that I've seen has been lasting and not just like an Instagram post of like, I had a hard summer and now I'm perfect again.
Yeah.
That's like not how it is. So, I mean, it's a nice story, but it's not actually how it looks.
Well said. And Liv, what role does somatic healing play in helping people unlock their fullest potential?
Oh, great. That's like, what a great question. Thank you for asking that.
Mhm.
Somatic healing, and somatic is being thrown around a lot. So I'll even explain what I mean by that. So somatic is just bringing the body with you. So that it's not just in the mind, it's actually your whole body from the inside out, from the top to the bottom, from the left to right. Okay. The whole nervous system and the way it responds. So somatic healing is the missing link. So you can't really think your way into feeling more powerful. You have to do it in every day by just what I call building your muscle of pride. And it's kind of just showing up for your nervous system when it's hard to do it. You wake up, the alarm goes off, and you're like, talk yourself out of getting a drink of water and getting your yoga practice in, or whatever it is, right? That you need to be doing.
Yeah.
And we must show up in a more kind and compassionate way for our somatic healing, and not go from letting ourselves off the hook to the pusher energy and the forceful energy I was talking about. Most people swing from avoidance completely and distraction and numbing practices to, I got to do everything right now. And there's so much in between. And that is where we want to focus on that somatic work. Can we actually listen to the signals of the body and attend to the healing that is meant for us?
Well said. And Liv, how do you define the heartbeat of the spirit? And how can people reconnect with it?
Yeah, well, part of why I'm building this app, if I can be honest with you, and what I do is because it's something I need. I think it's something we all need. It's like, how many times do I need to come back to myself? But how can I make it really easy for me to drop back in again? So how I would define it is coming back to your true nature. It's not that, esoteric or anything. It's just coming back to integrity, authenticity, empowerment, love-centered living, these spiritual principles I talk about in the book, and knowing which one to access in that moment. Sometimes you have to take radical living, which is, okay, it's time for me to be radically responsible for my life right now. That's a spiritual practice. Sometimes it's empowerment and, okay, it's time to act. Sometimes it's, okay, I got to get quiet and tune into my intuition. So it's really going to take us all to go inward to actually make a difference on the external, not just for ourselves, but for our families, our communities, the world. And when we slow down to tune in to that true nature, to that divine living, to that authentic living, intuitive living, we actually are able to take then what I'm calling heartbeat in action, right? We can take that empowered action. It's so much easier because we're more effective. And we have to be more effective. We have to actually make better choices and course correct faster. So my hope with the projects I've been working on is, it's not really about perfection. You're going to have a human response, most of the time, or judgment. That's going to be the first responders most of the time. It's just that recovery. How quickly did you come back to yourself? That's the goal, right? When I tell my clients, they're like, oh, I want to raise my level of consciousness and be enlightened. I'm like, great. It's not about staying there. You're going to go through all these levels of consciousness, and your job is to just recognize where you're at, be mindful, use compassion, and let's just take it one step at a time to bring that awareness back. That's the goal. It's not perfection.
Great response. Thank you. Liv, how do you see the intersection between vulnerability and power in today's world?
Tricky, huh? I think the first thing to recognize is that they're not opposites. I think that most, especially, I work with a lot of influencers and high achievers and very successful wealthy individuals who feel like, oh, if they saw that about me, then they wouldn't buy my thing, or they wouldn't like me, or I have to protect myself because people would attack or something, you know? And vulnerability, from what I see, is actually just this beautiful doorway to authentic power, which is actually way more powerful than the mask that people are wearing to look like they have it all together. And when we can really lean into authentic vulnerability, not vulnerability for the sake of causing drama, right? As we know, we see that too, right? But people are really craving realness more than ever, right? I think that you've probably seen that in the work too, talking to a lot of people in your day. And when leaders are able to share from that heart-centered space, that's where they're actually contributing in a really big way. Of course, you're giving permission for others to do it, but it's also the healing that you receive from that authenticity is everything. And nobody can take that away, you know, even if people don't respond the way you would want them to. What a great thing you can say, that I stayed with myself, even in the face of a hard moment, right?
Very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you. My next question, Liv, is how can people cultivate a deeper relationship with their own emotions? And if you can give me an example, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I'll share a vulnerable one since we're talking about vulnerability. There was, for a long time, I think I was, if you think of emotions as like this beautiful spectrum of emotions where joy and love and all of that is over here and fear and shame is over here, I kind of like to sit like right in the middle, like I'm good, I'm fine, I'm all right, I'm good, I'm okay. And what I recognized is, if you want all of this over here, the joy, the love, um, the connected, the interconnectedness feeling that I think we're all talking about these days, you can't, it doesn't go from here to jump over there. You actually have to go and expand both ways, right? And so if we can get more and more comfortable with the emotional landscape that is actually just the human experience, we want to welcome it all and not say, this one's the bad ones, these are the good ones, and I'm trying to avoid these ones and have these ones. That's not actually how it works. So what I share with people is really just asking them, which ones are you not comfortable with? Which ones are you not being with? Is it hard to celebrate yourself and, you know, be animated in your life? Or is it hard to, you know, cry in front of somebody or take a moment for your sorrow and your grief? So I think that I would have people start there, is just really being honest with themselves about how much in this emotional landscape, where am I not comfortable? Where am I not actually being honest with myself and not tending to my emotional self?
Well said. Liv, one more question relating to becoming human medicine, then a couple of questions for your forthcoming book.
Okay.
Can you share a story or an example of any client, and I don't want any names, who became their own medicine through your work?
Yeah, I mean, my clients are the best, all of them. I get to talk to so many beautiful people. One person is coming to mind, and this is actually a common, unfortunately, where there's just so much burnout amongst women in corporate world and tech world in the city of San Francisco. And often that burnout leads to heartbreak and disease, essentially. And when she came to me, you know, she was very sick. She thought she needed to change her job and fix her relationship or divorce, or, you know, throw everything out the window, essentially, was because she was suffering so much. But through the work that she did and that she allowed me to walk alongside her as she did over time, those practices of self-trust and over self-abandonment was a big one for her. I think that self-betrayal and not following what she knew she needed to do. Okay, we all know what we need to be doing. Like, I need to do this, and this, but like, can we follow through? It was hard for her not to trust herself. So building up that self-trust, or what I'm calling today that muscle of pride, like, oh yeah, I show up for myself. I'm able to do what I say I'm going to do for me.
Mm.
That was really big. Daily rituals, setting boundaries with her family, her kids, her coworkers. She actually has not changed jobs. She got promoted. And she's making great money still and living in San Francisco, but she doesn't hold work as the only thing to tell her she is worthy. And that really did help quite a lot for her, becoming her own medicine in a way. The doctors were confused by all her health stuff. I mean, really, she cured herself, which is amazing, right? And she had all of the doctors, right? It wasn't like for lack of good help.
Yeah.
But we really can heal ourselves when we're deciding to say, okay, it's going to be, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this, So that was a really fun person to work with. And
well said. I have time for two more questions, and these are going to be about your forthcoming book. So
okay.
for my viewers and listeners, Oliveyah has a new book coming out in fall 2025, which is Spiritual Heartbeat, The Ultimate Requirement for Success. And my first question for you about your forthcoming book, Liv, is what is the ultimate requirement for success according to your book?
Yeah, good. Thank you. So it's alignment. It's spiritual alignment. It's being able to use the wisdom that we all know about from all the great books of centuries, and we're going to go apply it now, like in our modern world, in our day to day, in our hard conversations, in our challenges, in every single thing that we do. How can we actually have spiritual alignment? And success without meaning, or success without integrity, or success without authenticity is hollow.
Yeah.
Will kill you slowly. And when your inner world aligns with that outer action, it's just so fulfilling. So we get to bring fulfillment along. We're not going to leave ourselves behind and betray ourselves for more money, more stronger body, for more relationships, for more status. It's not working. And so I think that for a lot of the people I work with, they're recognizing that they have great success externally, and they're like, all right, here we go. Let's go ahead and make this in alignment and have it all lined up to match. And when I work with young people in their 20s too, it's so fun because they get to not go through the heartache that many of us had to go through. I'm teaching them how to, okay, here's what actually you're going to do, because this is what happens when you don't. Let's just get you in alignment now while you're in building mode, like right out of college, right out, 2 years out of school. And that's been actually really fun to work with that demographic too, for deeper fulfillment, to not leave themselves behind for the abundant life that they're creating.
Thank you. And my last question, what do you hope readers will take away from your book?
I hope that they take away that they already have everything that they need inside of them. That wholeness is already within them. And I want them to walk away with really practical tools, and a felt sense of power and joy, and a yes in their body, like, oh, game on, let's go. I can do this, just by hopefully feeling seen in some of the writing and the stories. And my hope is that this book becomes a mirror that reflects their greatness, and a map, guide, or whatever you want to call it, back to that true nature, back to that truth. And that's what it did for me in writing it. So my hope is that, really it was selfish. I wrote this for selfish reasons. It was for me, and I am going to share it. I don't think I am perfect at this. Let's just be clear about that. I am on the journey just like everyone else. And I'm sharing it. I'm sharing that journey. I'm sharing what's working. I'm sharing what I see with my clients and what I've, seen that actually works. And it's not just short-term happiness for over like this long-term fulfillment that is ours to claim.
Absolutely. And it takes a lot of courage to be able to share what your own inner thoughts are with the world. And, that's why I always have a lot of respect for authors. But on that note, Olivia, I just want to say thank you so much for speaking to me about your own amazing journey. Thank you for speaking to me about the spiritual heartbeat movement. I think you gave us some very interesting pointers about human medicine, about somatic healing, about the heartbeat of the spirit, and of course, about your forthcoming book. Good luck with the book. Thank you again, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.